What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Shred Show Live. I cannot tell you how ecstatic I am to be hanging out with these two incredible ladies. We're going to be talking about something that all of you know I am truly passionate about. It is community. And not only that, but how to create a community of champions. And I am joined by Kelly Gill, who is the Senior Vice President of Marketing and Advertising at Modern Mortgage. And then, of course, we're joined by Marcy Downey, who is actually the recipient of the Community Champion Award. That's right. We're going to be getting into so much that you need to know to build and create those relationships within your communities. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Are you ready? It is time to shred. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and again, welcome to, and of course, my sir, there we go. It's always right. We're literally talking about the most inconvenient moments in the world. Your internet cuts out. That's why we do this live, because you all know there's imperfections. There's things that happen, and technology is our best friend, yet our best enemy. But I cannot tell you how excited I am to have both Kelly and Marcy joining me for the show, specifically talking about community and how we can stay in front of them, how we are building communities for life. We all hear the word client at times, and yes, of course, we're helping them with one of the most important transactions they could ever have when it comes to achieving the dream of home ownership. But we're really going to be diving in today of how to create an amazing community. But before we do that, I want to, of course, introduce these amazing ladies that are staying with us this morning and get a little background on them. So Kelly Gill, so excited. You were one of those people that when you and I first met, we were having conversations and you just bring a smile. You're so knowledgeable, but your energy, like mine, is infectious. So I'm so excited to have you today and have a conversation. For those who maybe don't know you, share a little bit about how you got started in the industry.
Sure. My name's Kelly Gill, and I, like Josh said, I'm actually with Motto Franchising, which is the Motto Mortgage brand parent company. So want to call that out. I've been in this industry, I feel like, a very long time now. I actually used to work for some big names back in the day, before the mortgage meltdown in 2008. Throwing out names: First Horizon Home Loans, MetLife Home Loans, Fairway Prime Lending. And then finally ended up with the Motto Mortgage brand. Always working in marketing and doing what I can to support the needs of loan originators in a distributed kind of market. So I love what I do. I love the companies that I've worked for and that I work for now. And, my passion is making sure that we have the tools and the resources and the knowledge within my team and within the company to do the best we can for what are our franchisees.
Speaking of franchisees, I know that I'm so excited. Marcy and I had an opportunity to connect later last year, and it was so much fun to meet her, talking about top originators within the industry. She's hanging out with us, and as I mentioned, we're going to be getting into the award that she received, being the Community Champion Award. But before we do that, Marcy, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in the industry.
Hey, Josh, thanks. I appreciate it. It's an honor to be on here with you and Kelly today. So I have a background in sales. I have a background in education. My career kind of pivoted right around COVID, and had some friends in the industry that thought I might do well in it. And the rest is kind of history.
That's literally how all of us, everybody in the mortgage industry is like, yep, I had a friend. It always starts with that. I had a friend.
Seriously.
And next thing I know, I've been here for the last 20 years. Unfortunately, it's not. It does, but it's not a bad thing. It's a great place to be. And again, we're a community, which is perfect segue into exactly what we're going to be talking about today. Because Kelly, something that when I was at Motto Mile and you guys' incredible event, something that you as a team, as a community do at Motto is you truly do support one another. You help one another. You are there through the ups and the downs. All of us know right now more than ever, our industries, I don't want to say doom and gloom. I don't like the negativity in it, but we're in a challenging time. Let's call it a challenging time. And it is so incredibly important to have a community that is supporting you from the top down, not just originators like Marcy, but coming from the executive level, the senior team leadership. Having a community support is so incredibly important, especially when it comes to the marketing side. Staying in front of our own, as Marcy does so incredibly well, being that she received the award. We have to stay in front of our communities. So why am I? Why is this such a big focus to really focus on that community aspect?
So from a business perspective, like I mentioned, Motto is a franchise brand, and so it can very quickly become isolating if we don't work really hard for our what we call our network of Motto franchise offices to kind of pull together and work together and help each other, because they're all independently owned and operated businesses around the country. But literally on the day-to-day, we have Facebook groups, we have trainings and resources and things like that from the corporate level. But then our network is so good about like lifting each other up, helping each other out, having conversations. I mean, on the Facebook groups, there's always like, hey, how do I do this? Who's seen a product that works best for this? And there's just this feeling, I think, of, they are separate businesses, but coming together helps everyone and helps the brand. So it's a great way to kind of gain that support and have it kind of coming from the top down, but also totally our community is its own kind of thing, its own animal out there that's happening every single day within the Motto offices.
And Marcy, I'm sure you kind of have, being that you got started in the industry and you're one of the top originators in the country and you continue to do amazing things for your community. How is the community aspect there? Let's just say it as it is. There's plenty of other companies out there, but you have chosen to be with the Motto community in particular. How has that support been for you?
So it's wonderful to have that large network behind us. We are able to network with LOs all over the country, and we know that corporate has our back. We know that corporate has the resources we need to go out and do what we need to do. So even though you're kind of running your own business, you feel like a part of something much bigger. And that's kind of how I started with, getting more involved in the community with Motto. Is they have a campaign called Mission Against Hunger. And 2 years ago, our brokerage won that award. It was the first time that award was given. So we were the inaugural winners of that award. And we were all extremely proud of that. Our broker owner, Paul Boone, has been super supportive of all we do in the community. Excuse me. And that was a opportunity that Motto Corporate provided to us that we wouldn't have had otherwise. Sure, we could have done some grassroots things, which we do all the time organically, but having, a larger backing and resources available to us, whether it be, marketing pieces or talking points, or just knowing that large network is behind us really, really makes a difference and makes you feel empowered to go out and, and do great things and be proud and passionate about what you're doing. And if you're not branding yourself, someone else is out there branding themselves. So why not? And that gave us an opportunity to not only, do things for the community and give back, but also to brand our business. I mean, we're not doing it to get anything back, but certainly, sometimes good things come back when you kind of put it out there. So I think that feeling a part of, a Motto is wonderful. One of the largest wholesale lenders in the country do specific events for Motto. And they do that because Motto, has the brand behind it, has the people behind it, has a network behind it. And they put the resources into us because they know Motto is going to, support us and give back as well. So even though you're alone, you're not really alone.
Ooh, and that is perfect community. No matter what is going on, through the challenges, through the ups and the downs, you always have people that support you, that you can be proud of. And Kelly, that's why I want to kind of go into, and plus I want to shout out to Marcy with her little humble brag there. She doesn't have just one award. Her team, they got multiple awards here. So that's what I'm saying. We got one of the top originators in the country. But Kelly, I want to, as we transition just a little bit, when I heard that you guys as a team, as a community, offered this community champion award, which we're going to get into here in just a second with Marcy, why did you and the team, the executive team, come together and see it was so important to really even put out an award like this for the Motto community?
Yeah, I mean, the Community Champion Award was the very first one this last year, Marcy being our inaugural winner. Honestly, we kind of built it around her. We had heard all of the great things that she had been doing in the community. Everything from, participating in different, business events and, little leagues and other, sports events and sponsoring things, lots of school things Marcy does. And so we looked at this great person that's so involved, and said, how can we encourage this across the Motto network? So even though Marcy's the kind of inaugural person, the idea is that we want to start, making what she does the example for our whole network. So, people in the network, the loan originators we have, showing them that if you get out in the community, what you give, you get back, like she said. And, people shop for people, not for business, not for even a brand. I'm going to say that as a marketer, it's like, but people are shopping for people. So when they're looking for someone to help them with their home loan, they're going to go to the people that they've heard, seen, know, that are there with them all the time, and people that they know and trust. So when you're in that local kind of community effort, you're getting your name out there, you're getting yourself out there. And when people see you and know that you do good things, they only want to work harder with you, right?
Oh, Kelly, I want to take a second on this, because this in particular, if you've ever heard me talk about brand, I literally was on a podcast yesterday talking about this. There's a huge difference between the word branding and brand. Yeah. And as marketers, you and I, especially in that world, so many people think a brand is a logo, a color scheme, a slogan. But I see a brand as somebody like Marcy. I define the word as brand is what your clients, what your friends and your family, what do they say about you when you're not in the room? After the transaction is closed, after you've gone the extra mile and done incredible work for them, it's your reputation. Your brand is an extension of your reputation. And if you do it correctly, and as Marcy has done, get yourself involved in the community, your brand becomes something that is so trustable, so recognizable, and it is just something. And I think as a mortgage industry as a whole, we need to start shifting our thinking of branding and marketing. Your brand is something that is critically important as you are building these relationships. And I want to shift this to Marcy as this is a great segue to the award. And I want to read what the award actually is. Because I don't want to try to paraphrase it, because I think it's incredibly impactful. So this is the Community Champion Award, recognizes someone who dedicated a tremendous amount of time to serving and giving back to your local community. These individuals is not only determined to support their local community, but also committed to following through on that promise. Marcy, just reading that, as Kelly has shared, you have been involved with sports. You have been involved with different local food drives, everything. It's not just one thing. I think sometimes far too often as human beings, we're like, oh, well, I did this one thing, and that's great. But there's so many aspects and so many opportunities for us as human beings to serve and give back. How did you get started? How did you see opportunities, or have you always just been one of those people like, hey, I just want to jump in? And where did you get started with all of this?
So, I had great role models in my parents who always were involved in the community. So I kind of was brought up that way. And regardless of what field I've been in, I've always done some type of volunteer work, whether it be at a PTA or a local, church, food banks, whatever. It's just kind of part of me. So a lot of it comes naturally. And I know it doesn't come naturally for everyone. But when I was a teacher, I used to talk to the students about giving of your time, giving of your talent, or giving of your treasure. So time, talent, or treasure. So it doesn't always have to be let me give you an example at school. So I do sponsor a lot of the sport teams, and I'll sponsor the band, and, my picture and my logo will be, in their programs, things like that. That does take a little bit of resources. I'm proud to be able to give back. I'm blessed to be able to give back. I love that. I probably would do that even if I wasn't, doing this job. So, but it's an opportunity to do it on behalf of our business. But in addition to that, giving of your time, that's just going out and simply volunteering. It doesn't have to be anything that's extravagant. So when they have the senior award banquet at our local high school, I just show up and I help. I'm there. I'm not there with a motto name tag on or a motto t-shirt on. I'm just there because I want to give back. And then, your talent. I'm not creative. I'm a really good organizer. So if I can help organize events, I try to do that. So that's kind of time, talent, and treasure. So there's lots of opportunities. And as you mentioned, like this business is built on relationships. And I do have a sales background from before I had my children. And, my oldest son is 21 now, so it's been a while. But I think our business is a little bit different in sales, because once you sell once you sell what you have, and I've heard this morning on another, it was a kind of a pep talk that I was listening to from one of our lenders. They talked about how no one really wants what we're selling. Like, no one necessarily wants a mortgage, right? They want the home. So we're there to help them. So you're trying to sell something that they don't want. So that relationship is really important, because they need to know that they can trust you and so forth. But once you sell it, you have to stay with those people. Like, you sell it, but then you have to still go through the process with them. So them knowing that you are visible, available, that you're local in a lot of cases, that is a selling point. I'm going to stay with you from start to finish. Just like when you go to the high school and you go to a baseball game and you see my picture on the banner when you walk in. When I first saw it, I was like, whoa, that's a lot. Like, that's the first thing you see. But, I'm there supporting the team as well. So people need to know that that's your personality, and it might not be for everybody, but you can make it what you want to make it and get involved in the level that you want to get involved in. And you don't have to be somebody that is good at public speaking or has the resources to be able to sponsor things like that. Sometimes it's just showing up, be consistent, be passionate, like, be sincere. Find a purpose. We were, I want to say, fortunate enough to help, but unfortunate to be in the situation last year where our community was hit by a couple of hurricanes. So people were hit significantly. And I am a vice president of one of our local boards in our community that gives a lot back. And I'm not doing that to represent, Motto or myself. I'm doing that just because, I did that before I was a loan originator. But we're out there, like, boots on the ground, making it happen, getting to people that need help. And we continue to do that. So that was an opportunity that was presented to us. But you don't have to look far for opportunities. We're getting ready to go back to school. All you have to do is make a phone call to your local school. You find the right person. Usually a good place to start is the principal's secretary. Hey, I know your teachers are coming back next week. Can I bring breakfast one morning? Showing up with bagels and I kind of have a funny story. Can I tell a funny story about these?
Of course.
Okay. So these are little to-do pads, and I bought them a couple years ago. And when I first got them, our broker owner, Paul, was like, I see those things everywhere. Like, your face is everywhere. And I was like, okay, I better dial it back a little bit because it's kind of obnoxious, right? And I thought I got them as, like, helpful, for people. I still include them in these little bags that we use for open houses. It says, thanks for popping by. I put them in the bag. So I do use them for marketing. But I was providing breakfast to teachers last year, and it was at the local high school. So it was like for 150 people, and you can either drop and go, or you can, stay and mingle. And it depends on the environment, which one I'll do. Well, I left a bunch of these behind because I thought, well, it's the beginning of the school year. they can use these with some pens, of course. It's something useful that they're going to be able to use. So anyway, fast forward about 2 weeks, and my daughter, who's in high school, says, "Oh my gosh, Mom, you're not going to believe what I just saw on Instagram." And so she saw that one of these pads, and one of the teachers had used it as a hall pass.
No way.
So ironically, the boy, I knew the boy, so that's why my daughter shared it with me, and we were laughing about it. His mom is one of the top producing real estate agents in the county. So we got a huge laugh about it. I've been friends with her for a long time. And, we still joke about that. Like, because the kid put on Instagram, "Last thing I expected to see was your mom's face on my hall pass today." So I was like, okay, you never know where your branding stuff might show up. But that was just a simple give back to those teachers, and it, kind of snowballed into a funny story.
This is a perfect example. And Kelly, this is, as Marcy has shared this, what's so interesting to me is, or Marcy, of course, you have done like the notepads, these little list things. Now it's become a hall pass. But Kelly, there's a difference between being in the community and being a part of the community. Actually being, as Marcy has mentioned, serving in the community. Sure, you can do the fun things as Marcy said, putting your face on a program and a baseball game or sporting events. Sure, those things are great. But also this award in particular, why you guys created it, is for people who are actually serving. You can pay the money to sponsor something and put your face up there. But really, this award really embodies the people who are out there, who are involved, who are giving back to their communities, which again, just shows exactly who Motto is. And I think that's exactly what you guys were trying to do when you created this award.
Yeah, and Marcy mentioned we also have an award for the Motto Mission Against Hunger, and that is also a kind of community champion award too. And we've had that award for quite some time. We've always had this thread within Motto, and when we built Motto and started selling franchises, of giving back. And one of the challenges we had when we started thinking of what can we do, what can we create to help our Motto offices give back in their communities, it was a big challenge, because when you think about the larger supported organizations out there, there are few, Komen, Habitat for Humanity, that allow you to be part of something bigger but give back locally, right? And we wanted something that fit that mold. So the Mission Against Hunger was just really an idea to say, how do we have something that our loan originators at our offices can either collect or talk about food insecurity, give out these bags. And I wish I had one. I should have thought about it, but we have Mission Against Hunger bags that are nice, sturdy shopping bags that our loan originators can give to people who are in the transition, in their moving, right? And say, hey, you're moving. You might have some pantry items that you're like, I don't really want to move these 12 canned goods, over to the new house. Bring them in, and we will work with our local food pantries to distribute that food. Then it kind of also grew into, okay, we're going to have food drives throughout the year. And it's a concerted effort with support, with materials, with communications, with PR around it, to say the Motto Mortgage Network is giving back during this time. Usually it is in the spring, summer, or the fall, around different times of the year that we know people are food insecure. School getting out, a lot of kids don't have meals during the summer. And so there's a push to say, okay, let's give back at this specific part of the year so that we can help boost those, things that are needed throughout the year. In the fall, a lot of times, we're talking about the holidays. We're talking about a time when people are strapped for cash. And so, giving more during those times is important too. So we've kind of melded it into this way to work together as a network, but also give locally. So most of our Motto offices that participate in the Mission Against Hunger, they have partnered with a local food bank, a church, or any other organization that kind of collects food or other items. People will also do, toys around the holidays, backpacks around school, whatever the thing is. The idea is to give back to the community. And so we've had that award for several years as well. and basically said, okay, how do we take this further? So we have the Mission Against Hunger, but we also have the Community Champion Award now, to help really bring those two things home.
Well, Kelly, I think you nailed it. I don't think, because for everybody watching, everybody tuning in who will see this on repeat, is whether you're a community champion receiving an award for it, whether whatever you're doing, do something. Like, there's so many opportunities for you to serve and to give back. And again, it can be on a small, even doing something. Maybe your time is limited, maybe your resources are limited, but just give back. As Marcy even mentioned, maybe it could be just a matter of your time going and serving in a local school, serving within the PTA. All these things are giving back to our communities. And again, that's what, going back to the whole topic of this conversation, being involved in your community, showing that your community, you are there for them, you're supporting them, you're building that trust, you're building that respect, you're building that confidence. That's what this is all about. And that's why this has been such a brilliant conversation. So as we start to wrap this up, what I'd like to kind of end on is this in particular. Marcy, if people, again, you've had so many different things that you've been involved in. Is there one in particular, whether it's working with schools or organizations, is there one in particular that you've really kind of taken a shining to, that you really enjoy most with all the service that you do?
So I'm going to go back to what Kelly was talking about in the food insecurities and the needs in the school. So we adopted a school last year, and at the end of the school year, what we did is we kind of tied a bunch of things together. We asked our agents in the offices that we work with to make donations. So we didn't necessarily ask our clients to give back, like, extra canned goods. I love that idea. And, that's something you can do in addition to, but we did our own food drive where we asked the agents. And then we also had a drive up where the community could drop off donations. It was very specific. We wanted snack food items that elementary and middle school children would use, and it would be helpful over the summer because a lot of those kids lose access to the food when they're out, outside of school. And, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind in the community, but it's a real thing for these children. So we picked a middle school in particular that we wanted to give them the food to. We had a ton of food, like probably literally a ton of food. And we went to the school and we presented it to them. And it was, myself and the other loan originators that were in our office. We collected it. We shared with the agents where it was going to. And we felt like it made a really big impact. It stocked their pantry for the summer. So those kids would be able to not only come to the school and get the foods if they needed to, but also they were sent home with backpacks full of food. I think, to me, that was a really easy thing to do. It's easy to make contact with the school. People feel passionate about it. It's kids. Who's not going to want to help? And we had the motto brand behind us and the power of motto behind us with that Mission Against Hunger. And we were able to, look at how can we make a big impact in a short amount of time. And yes, it took a little bit of time and some legwork and, some elbow grease, but it was extremely rewarding and kind of brought a lot of pieces together. And I think energized maybe some other people to do similar things.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing that, Marcy. It is. And again, was there work involved? Absolutely. But look at the lives that you impacted, the children and the homes you were able to really make a difference in. And that's what this is all about. And Kelly, as we wrap this up, this is exactly who Motto is. This is the team. This is the community that you guys have created. And what's amazing in this challenging time of the mortgage industry, where so many other companies are focused on rates or programs or this and that. And I'm not saying those aren't important things. And it's not that you guys don't have those incredible assets as well, but focusing on what's really important. And then had this entire conversation around community, about really focusing on and giving back in your local community. It just speaks so much to who you guys are as an organization.
Yeah, we're really passionate about, what we built. And, we take it personally when, people talk about our brand and the things that we do. I think the biggest thing to drive home during this time, you can push and push and push to try and get more clients, but really and truly going back to kind of basics is the way to find those people that are still interested and are still shopping for a home, they still have their dreams. Their dreams have not gone away, with rates being higher or anything like that. So we still have the ability to really impact people's lives. And, going back to being a part of the community, being present. I think Marcy's point about being present is so huge. You can put all the little banners up you want, and, I can give you all the marketing in the world, but you still have to be out there, and you have to, take the initiative and be a part of something bigger.
Wow. Mic drop. That was brilliant. You do. I couldn't have said it better. You have to take you have to take the initiative. Even if you have an incredible team like Marcy or like Kelly said, supporting you, giving you all you need on the marketing aspect, on the actual front of helping your clients, your community achieve that dream of homeownership. You have to be present. You have to go out, as Marcy has so brilliantly done, and just be out there, serve, give back. Again, no more excuses of how much time you have, your resources to give back. You just need to be out there, interact with them, and I promise all of you can make an incredible difference. So, Marcy, Kelly, this has been such an inspiring conversation for so many of us in a climate of so much uncertainty and a change. This really brings it all home and focusing on our community. So ladies, thank you so much. This has been such an amazing conversation.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
No, it's been our pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, I know this has been one of those episodes for me that has truly brought everything home, and focusing on your community is something that you can do starting today. So go out there, make it happen. Drop in the comments how you are going to make a difference in your community. And until next time, as always, we appreciate you. We love you. Now it's time for all of you to go shred, go show up, hustle, repeat every day. See ya.